Hi, Arpita. It's Ellen. I read your email. I understand your test is tomorrow, so I really hope this gets to you in time and that you can review it a little bit before you sit your exam. So, before we get started, I want to wish you tons and tons of luck on the exam. Let's get straight into this and see what you wrote. Domestic and international travel. What are the advantages and disadvantages of it? Let's see what you wrote. It is believed that domestic and international travel has increased worldwide among the people. This has some advantages and disadvantages both, being discussed in the following sections. Okay. The content is fine. I like it, but the syntax is a little unnatural. There were cleaner, clearer, more natural ways of expressing this idea in English. I felt like your word order was maybe a little off here. So let's take a look at how this could have been said. First of all, I would have stopped this sentence right at worldwide. So it is believed that domestic and international travel have, because it's two types of travel, have increased worldwide. Full stop. This has some advantages and disadvantages, which will be discussed in the following sections. That's all. It's a much, excuse me, much more natural way of expressing essentially the same idea. Okay? So, traveling reduces the distance between people and gets, with an S, them closer. Transportation between cities of the same nation or different countries has become so convenient by flight that it is only a matter of 2 to 24 hours that we can reach our desired destination to meet the loved ones. Okay, again, some error here. That it is only a matter of 2 to 24 hours for us to reach our desired destination to meet our loved ones. Also, it is due to the lightening, you need another syllable here, lightening, fast speed of traveling that medical assistance can be given to the severely sick person in the remotest of places. Airlifting the sick to the needed multi-specialty hospital for appropriate treatment is now possible. For example, a student who is studying abroad and is in a different city could easily book a ticket to meet his family whenever he wants to see them. Okay. Let's see. So you're talking to me about the advantages of travel. Let's see. Transportation is easy. You can go anywhere between 2 to 24 hours and see the people you love. And assistance can be given to the sick, and then airlifting, and then you've got this example here. Okay, so let's see. First of all, I really felt like this was irrelevant. Okay, so here, this. I feel like this is irrelevant here. This is not about travel. I mean, it's about transportation, but this is not travel that you're airlifting someone. So I think you've misinterpreted what they mean here by travel. I mean, we're talking about, you know, going on trips, whether they're for leisure or whether they're for business. That's not really what what your example is dealing with. Okay. So I felt like this all was very irrelevant. Then you've got the sentence here about a student visiting his family whenever he wants, but that does not connect to anything here. I mean, maybe it connects to this idea here, but if so, then not maybe it does connect to this idea here, but your placement is wrong. I mean, it has no business being all the way down here, especially with this, for example. So this sentence, okay, should have been here in this section. That's where you should have put it. All right, because I feel like the progression of your ideas is not logical. If you have an example, the example should go right after the idea that it expresses. So it's those two problems. It's task achievement because I felt like some of the information you included was irrelevant, and it's also coherence and cohesion because The progression of your ideas is not entirely logical. And then, of course, there are grammatical mistakes that I had to correct throughout. Nothing that impedes coherence, but certainly mistakes that reduce the communicative effect. And, it's clear to the reader that there's errors here. So let's look at the next paragraph. Did I just do? Sorry. Okay. Multiple traveling by the people. I don't know what this means. What is multiple traveling? So you could have just said travel holds a few disadvantages as well. Remember, there's a difference in meaning between few and a few. What you want here is a few. So travel holds a few disadvantages as well. And that's all you needed here. So you really needed to just clarify this and make this like a simpler, cleaner sentence. Air pollution is on the rise due to ever increasing movement of the people by flights and personal cars. This sharp rise in air pollution is leading to an increase in various respiratory illnesses like asthma, bronchitis, and severe bouts of coughing. Vehicles used for traveling not run, but run on natural resources like petrol and CNG gases. Increase in traveling causes depletion of these precious natural reserves, and in future we will be left with nothing to travel. For example, multiple flights daily add toxic gases in the atmosphere, as well as depletes the already low reservoir of petrol. Okay, that's fine. It's certainly certainly more cohesive than the previous paragraph, more on topic. You talked about air pollution. I was fine with that. That's fine. And also, just the depletion of our natural resources. So I thought this was fair, no problems. To conclude, traveling gets people closer, but at the same time strains our natural resources, motivating people about pollution and increasing awareness about preserving the environment can help limit the number of travel taken up by them. I don't like this expression, limit the number of travel. How about, because you don't have like 4 travels, 5 travels. It's not something countable. So how about the amount can help limit the amount of travel? That's more accurate here since travel is uncountable. Okay, so this was fine in many ways. I definitely feel like the second half of the essay was stronger, more on topic. This, we already talked about the multiple problems, so you need to work on that a little bit. Let's take a look here at the movies that young people watch. The given graph illustrates the most watched movies in different categories by young male and female worldwide. Females, young males, plural, and females, plural. Overall, the comedy genre of movies are most preferred, and animated movies are least preferred by both young males, S, and females, again, S, worldwide. Action films are more watched and preferred by young males and females at number 137 and 82, respectively. Get rid of the word number here. It doesn't work. It just sounds awkward. Comedy movies. Okay. Comedy movies showed almost equal preference by both young males and young females at about 145 and 137, respectively. Both males and females showed mediocre preference towards horror movies at 73 and 64 worldwide. All right, I don't really like the way you've organized this. You really should have started with comedy. Yeah, I know you mentioned it here, but now you're going into details. So it really made a lot more sense to start with comedy. Okay, and then you could have gone to action. And then you could have gone to this. But to be totally honest with you, I'm not entirely sure why you decided to organize your answer like this. Like, I don't understand the logic necessarily. Let me see. I have to look at the graph, that's for sure. But let's look at the next paragraph as well. Young females showed larger preference for romantic movies compared to other genres S of movies at 116 against, get rid of this as, only 31 young males liking it. 86 young females like drama movies, whereas only 63 young men, get rid of, showed interest in it. Both boys and girls showed the least interest in animated films at 63 and 54 respectively. Okay. All right, so I really want to open the graph so we can talk about it for a minute. I just wanted to bring up the graph so that we can look at the way you organized your data, because I didn't really find a logical um, I didn't really understand the logic behind the way you organized it. So let's see, you started with action, then you went to comedy, and then you went to horror. So I kind of understand that you were looking at the most popular, the second most popular, the first most popular. That doesn't make sense. The second most popular, the most popular, and the third most popular movies among men. Um, and I would be okay with that, except that you didn't really signpost this. Now, what does that mean? It means that you don't tell us, this is the second most popular, this is the third most popular. And you really do not need to do that, because otherwise it's not really clear to us why you have done this. All right. So I didn't totally agree with this element, like the highlighting why you've selected the data you've selected. Here too, okay, so then when you got to the women, you talked about romance, drama, and animated. And I just didn't really understand why and how you selected the data you selected, to be totally honest with you. Now, this is a chart that has 12 pieces of data. So essentially, you could probably include all of them. You don't have to, but you could have. So let's talk about a little bit about how you could have organized this. I agree with you that it makes sense to start by talking about men. Okay. I would probably have talked about comedy, and then I would have talked about action, and then I probably would talk about romance, saying that it's the least popular. And then I would say the remaining animation, drama, and horror all had between 60, what is it, 63 and, wait, men, yeah, 63 and 73 viewers. And then I'd be done with the men. Then I would start with the women, and I would do something similar. I would say that women, they had 137, it was preferred by 137 women. It was followed by romantic movies at 116. And then I would talk about animation being the least. And then I would just kind of throw the remaining three together. So animation, drama, and horror. That's one way you could have done it. Okay, just say that the remaining, and then say what they were. All were between 54 and 64. Or I think that's right, or 82, or whatever it is. Yeah, 82. So you could have done something like that, or you could have done comedy was the most popular, romantic was the second. Similar in popularity among women were drama and action at around 85. You could do that. And then you could say the least popular were horror and animation at under 65. You could do that. All right. So this way you're including everything without adding so much detail, but it's a way that at least is logical. Again, it's important to signpost some of this and explain to the examiner, this is why I'm selecting it. This was the most popular. This was the second most popular, so that there's some sort of logic and we understand. You have to remember that when you're describing these task ones, ideally you can describe it in such a way that the person does not have to look at the graph to understand what you're looking at. And I didn't really get that from yours. So you could see that I didn't understand the logic and why you were selecting your data. So this is one way you can do it. I hope this information gets to you in time. I hope that you can review it and maybe think about it before you take your test tomorrow. Again, I want to wish you tons and tons of luck. I know you've been working hard, so I wish you the best with your exam. Do let us know how the exam goes, and of course your scores once you get them. Anything you need from us, we're here, so just let us know. Okay, best of luck to you once again.